1340 KAB.
44.
The Smooth Sound. Fabulous 1340 KAB.
45.
From the top of the world, fabulous 1340 KAB. Antonio Bay, California.
46.
Something that one lives with like an albatross around the neck. No, more like a millstone. A plumbing stone, by God. Damn them all.
Every hour, on the hour. KAB News and Weather.
10.
Every hour, on the hour. KAB News and Weather.
Welcome and happy All Hallows Eve, or I should say happy All Saints Day because this is the day after. But this is the Legacy Right. Let's get a little spooky tonight. Ain't that right, Andrew?
That's right. Welcome in.
Welcome to the midnight hour.
The hour is close at hand. Bang.
And let the commies fly, bitches. Got to turn the light on. This is the Legacy Right. I am your host, the Legacy of Jennifer Int Kaiser. In fact, you might not be able to see her right here, but there she is. And this is once again the Legacy Right. We have returned for what is this? Episode 8, going on the live streams there. Andrew Joseph, my
That's
number
right.
one, my Riker, my bald Riker.
Hey, it's nice being bald.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just you're no longer the ladies' man that you once were, William.
Oh, I know.
You're getting old.
Cold.
You're getting
So very full of mold. It's
so
Halloween.
it is. It's Halloween, man. So take off the mask, or keep the mask on.
Yeah, actually, I probably look better without the mask.
Yeah, you probably look. No, keep the mask on.
Okay.
Keep the mask on. But anyways, let's plug it all out, man. Speaking of Halloween themed and getting away from the mundane, negative drivel of division known as politics, Bud's in reality. He just dropped one. Actually, dropped one with a paranormal investigator on his latest episode. So check out Bud's in Reality all over Spotify, YouTube, Rumble, and the rest of the podcasting sphere. Check out Bud's in Reality. He is politically charged, but this week he goes a little bit different for the Halloween season, the spookiness, and he gets down to the things that really matter, and that's the afterlife. So there you go.
That sounds really good.
Bud's It does, man. Hey, man, Sean is making some things, man. He's making some moves. He's trying to expand his message out and do what we all trying to do, right? Find our
Right?
needs in this market. So speaking of, who touched the thermostat? Who touched it.com. I have one of his masterpieces, political statements, Liberty Apparel, even some Christian-esque messaging as well. But yeah, you can get this. Free rides for commies, because, that is what all commies deserve, is a free ride onto the other side. Sing it,
Back
Andrew.
on through to the other side. Yeah.
So whotouchedit.com to get your own liberty-oriented political statement apparel. And follow that dude on X and everywhere else on social media. Who touched the thermostat? Cool dude. And like I said, cool apparel. So let's get into the show tonight, Andrew. What did you want to talk about? I hear that you were touched by a ghost, slapped on the ass. Maybe they stroked you off a little bit. Were you
God.
sexually
This
were
isn't
you
this isn't
sexually
the
assaulted by a
Ghostbusters.
succubus?
This
I'm
was
just
it. This isn't this isn't the Ghostbusters, baby. This is live on X and Facebook and YouTube. And who God knows where else.
oh God knows where else. But no, for real. It looks like we have some comments, everybody. Look at that. Welcome in, Travis. The like that movie. Oh, I like that movie. Yeah, The Fog is great. I love it. I love it. And The Day of the Dead, also a great movie right there. Have you seen either of those movies, there, Andrew?
No, unfortunately, I'm not.
You you're a
I'm a
fucking loser. Get
recluse.
out. Oh,
Victor.
actually, no, really. Are you serious? You've never seen those movies?
Yeah, I know. I mean,
Fuck.
upstage by Bitcoin again.
My lights are on. LOL. They're supposed to be off, Katie. It's the Halloween season. So my cackle is bad enough. I don't want to scare people more with no lights. Well, that's the brilliance. Your cackle is everything, Katie. So that we're gonna copyright that cackle, Katie. So
Make
welcome,
great again.
So welcome, Katie and Travis, and for all of the viewers out there, but especially Katie and Travis who have been chatting, and welcome Mala as well. So belated blessed Samhain. So happy Halloween as well to you. DT fam for life. Dangerous thoughts every Sunday. At the moment, from what I hear, there's a guest always every Sunday that they bring on. Speaking of paranormal and the metaphysical, and cryptid and just all the supernatural and all the weird, all the dangerous thoughts. Dangerous Thoughts live on YouTube and X every Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Check that out. So make sure you subscribe. So, but yeah. So and welcome you guys for jumping onto the Halloween special of the Legacy Rights. So Andrew, I know that you've had some paranormal experiences. Actually, you and me have had some paranormal experiences. Um, just you remember that schoolhouse in the Smokies over in like Cades Cove?
Yeah, that was
Why
pretty
don't you
wild.
tell? Yeah, why don't you tell everybody about that, man?
Well, I mean, you came down and we were just exploring older territories of the Greater Smoky Mountain area, and we stumbled stumbled upon a sorry, I'm reading.
Go on.
We just stumbled upon an old schoolhouse and just started recording and taking pictures. I don't know if I had the pictures still. I had to go see and look, but yeah, we caught something. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I've had a long history of just paranormal experiences, just being around. So
Well, I pulled out my digital recorder and we kept
yeah,
on recording. I don't remember. I know we picked something up, but with our own ears we couldn't hear it. So I still need to this day put it on the computer, run it through Audacity, and kind of boost it to see if we actually did catch something. But remember how it was solid red when we know we're recording, but it started
yeah.
flickering, and that's how we kind of knew like something's here, man. And then it went silent when all the other tourists came through. Like we were alone at one point, and then all of a sudden we just stopped getting any experience. It was almost like they probably were children and they were kind of like scared. Like they got used to us, and then you had all these new people coming in to explore the schoolhouse in the middle of the woods, and I mean it was pretty wild just to see it flicker. And then we tried it again, and we just started talking like calmly, like we didn't do the Zach Bagans way, like you motherfucker, answer me.
We got canceled.
We just got canceled, everybody. But probably more for the copyright of me saying Zach Bagans. I hear he copyrighted his own name. Probably he trademarked it. Ghost
I
Adventures
suppose it's better
sucks.
than Happy Birthday.
Ghost Adventures used to be awesome, but it's all about the money now. Money, 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 money. I'll tell
It
you
would have been
one.
it would have been
Go
fun
on.
to do the editing for those old TV shows back in the '90s, like the paranormal shows that they used to put on, like Discovery, like over in
Oh yeah,
England and stuff like that. I think that would be a
yeah.
lot of fun.
It would be cool just to be in the productions of the investigation themselves, be in the command center, and you're the one that
Yeah,
actually gets to review everything while everybody else is doing all the actual groundwork inside. It's like I'm sitting here cozy, leaning back, drinking my tea, my green tea, and y'all motherfuckers get scared.
I don't know if I'd want to sit there and listen to 8 hours of absolutely nothing audio, and then maybe think you hear something in like 5 seconds, and then try to go back and find it. But yeah, I mean, it definitely does make for good TV.
Well, come on down, drop in, and let's hear those experiences, Katie. It's up to you though. But yeah, what other experiences have you had there, Andrew? Like
Well,
you
back when I was sorry,
didn't you tell me once that you got sexually assaulted by a you were I swear maybe it was Kyle actually. It might have been
no,
Kyle.
no, you're, you're killing me, Zach. Oh
Hold
man,
on, tell your experience.
every time I try to, you keep trying to say I'm sexually assaulted by a ghost. Jesus Christ!
Were you? I'm
No,
starting to believe you were. You're
no.
laughing about it, but
Oh,
I I was.
oh, go ahead. Inform the audience of your first time with the ghost rat.
A ghost rat?
Yeah,
How'd you
ring
know?
rat before ghost.
Oh, how'd you know it was an actual rat?
Well, I don't know. That's
It was a ghostly gerbil. All right,
oh
go on.
god.
I'll try. We're getting a little off topic. Go ahead. Then. Tell your
Talk
experience.
about spicy sauce. No,
We're-
I was staying at my grandpa's house one time when I was like 13 or 12 with my cousins over a 4th of July weekend, and they live right next door to a cemetery. And we were downstairs playing pool, and being next to cemetery, you're gonna test things a little bit. And I'm like, oh well, I'm not sure who said it, but one of the three of us said, if there's something here, because it's quiet, it's like 12 o'clock midnight, everybody's gone. It's just something here, make some kind of presence, let us know you're here. And there's this little
Mhm.
tricycle that was downstairs, and it started rolling by itself. Later on, I was staying there. My great grandma had just passed away, and I don't know if that's a stress response or what, but I had dreamed about her being walking down the cemetery. So, I don't directly what it was, but just saying, I love you. I'll see you later. Some kind of thing. So,
That's what I was about
uh,
ready to ask. Could it have been you saw her outside that cemetery just wandering, and it could have been a sign of her letting you know, hey, everything's okay. I'm here. I'll be here with you. I'll always be there with you, but I am gone. Like it's time to
yeah,
move on. Hmm.
yeah,
Little signs like that, man. So I mean, I have the feeling. I've learned that I do have somewhat of the gift. So I do get a feeling. So like I feel that with my mom. Like I lately, like I did I finally did the adult thing and changed out to my name on the energy bill. I've
mm,
just been paying it, right?
yeah,
I I swear onto everything that I ended up I just I was visited by her basically to let me know that congratulations, you did an adult thing. You're growing up there, buddy.
Right.
So, I mean, just the little things like that. I mean, when your loved ones pass. So,
Hmm. It's
but
hard.
hmm and then I always feel my pappy all the time. Come on. So, I mean, he always he'll visit me just to say, "Hey, uh just keep chucking. You got a mind. You got brilliance behind you. You got intelligence.
Right.
Use it." So,
That's right.
just work your butt off. Well, it looks like we got a couple guests, man.
Yeah.
Want to bring them on? So
Sure.
we have Travis. Welcome aboard, sir. And we have Katie, who has her
Hey, what's
camera off. So how you doing today, Travis? Or
I'm
tonight,
good. How
rather?
about yourself?
Hey, we're
That.
just keep living the dream, man. Just keep
Oh,
living the dream.
absolutely. Live day by day.
Mm-hmm. So any paranormal experiences you want to share?
I do not have paranormal experience, but like I was saying in chat a little while ago, I could tell some
Mm-hmm.
pretty good spooky stories and stuff. In a sense, not spooky
Oh,
stories, but like urban legends, urban
even
tales,
better.
folklore, stuff like that. I could tell some, ghost stories that I've heard and stuff, but nothing paranormal has ever happened to me.
You
Mm-hmm.
just wanted to show your pretty face, didn't you, darling?
Yes,
That's
sweetheart.
it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it.
That's it.
See, that's we got Travis on, so that's the end of the show.
Oh,
There's
oh,
that
I missed
lovely
that.
cackle.
There's a
So,
notification noise.
mm-mm. So
Well,
how about you, Katie?
I've I've had so many paranormal experiences. I could write a book. I'm actually a medium, so I've had a lot of experiences.
Mm-hmm.
Hi.
Hey.
But
Oh.
Katie.
I tend to live in places that have a lot of activity as well. A house that me and my mum lived in, when she was doing renovations to it, there was like before, during, and after photos taken, and I really wish that I was able to find those pictures because the orbs on it are just ridiculous. They're just like, the photos are full of orbs, but in that particular house, almost like clockwork, every night between about 11:30 p.m. and 1 a.m., you heard the rustling of bags, cupboards in the kitchen opening and closing, a teaspoon in a cup, a kettle boiling, and then the click of the kettle. And it was like somebody had gone and got their groceries and then come home, put them away, and then made themselves a cup of tea. And the elderly lady that lived there previous to us actually died in that house.
Mm-hmm.
But I had a lot of experiences. I had socks thrown at me when I was the only person in the house.
Oh, damn. Socks?
Now,
He wasn't sexually assaulted.
well,
At least you weren't sexually assaulted like Andrew.
not that far, but close.
Oh, no.
I'll tell you about that in a minute. But no, I'd done my laundry, and now I don't roll my socks. I fold them. I'm quite OCD.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd left my laundry upstairs because I had other things to do. I thought I'll put all my clothes away later. And when I was halfway down the stairs, something hit me in the back of my head. And when I looked, it was a pair of socks that were actually rolled up.
Oh my God.
And I was the only person in the house. And I found that quite funny because everyone's always got on at me about folding my socks rather than rolling them. So I found that quite funny, but I won't say I was scared because I've never really been all that scared through my experiences, but in that same house, there was an experience that unsettled me. And I actually found out it was a warning.
Ooh.
But I was doing the dishes and I came over so cold. And I'd been really uneasy for a couple of hours and I didn't know why. And do you know, like when like you're with a partner and like they're stood at the kitchen counter or doing the dishes and you go up behind them and you put your arms around their waist? I felt that happen to me. And I did not like that feeling at all. It creeped me out. I even felt somebody's breath on my neck.
Yeah.
And it was very unsettling. But I dealt with it. Whoever it was, I got them to leave. But then about an hour later, I was in the shower. And for some reason, I closed the door. I was in the house on my own. And usually I don't close the door, but for some reason I did. And now the bathroom door didn't close properly because it needed sanding down. But from nowhere, it started rattling like somebody was proper trying to break it down.
Oh my God.
And it was like, do you know like how you see in like horror movies where the door is just rattling really badly like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Or like
that.
or like The Shining when he's beating down the door with the hatchet.
Oh.
That would be.
Yeah. I actually thought that was going to happen, to be honest. The way that door was rattling.
That'd be freaky.
But it just wouldn't stop. And I had that same feeling. I knew it was the same entity or whatever it was that had put their hands on me in the kitchen. And the only thing that stopped it was my phone started ringing. And then it stopped. But I had never left that house so quickly. I got ready in record time. I didn't even bother drying my hair. I got out of that house. But
I don't blame you.
Yeah, I don't blame you at all.
Yeah, a load of shit kicked off that night, so it was like a warning for that. Bit of a strange warning, but yeah, I've had so many experiences. I've lived in a haunted pub.
Tell us about that. A haunted pub? What strange doings happen at a haunted pub? Like
well,
you hear
it used
like a
to
bunch
sound
of
like the cellar was being trashed. When there was nothing out of the ordinary. When I was cleaning tables and collecting glasses from customers, the glasses would disappear. Literally, they would be there. I'd turn around to clean a table, turn back, and it'd be gone.
I've actually heard the same thing happen. The same thing would happen on occasion at like Bobby Mackey's.
Yeah.
Over in Wilder,
you know
Kentucky.
about that Bobby Mackey's? Oh,
I know about it. Me and Andrew are not far. Well, Andrew's originally from Northern Kentucky, but I'm not far from Bobby Mackey's actually.
I heard that story almost about 15, 16 years ago.
I got when I was growing up, I was like 1 year old, and my mom and my grandma were messing around, and they went up to Bobby Mackey's Music World during the day, and
they were messing around,
to drive around doing stuff in town, and they didn't have anything to do, so that my mom went up there with my grandma and be in the back seat, and she's like, "Oh yeah, go over there, look through the window," and apparently. My grandma was like, "No, don't do that. You know, this place is haunted. Oh, I'm gonna do it. So my mom goes up and she's sitting there making fun of the whole situation. My grandma's in the passenger seat, and my mom's like, "Oh, look at me!" And she's looking through the window, right? And the next thing you know, the brake line on the car, it fails, and the car starts rolling back, and she's trying to like put the emergency brake on, and it won't come on, and it starts rolling and it rolls in backwards into traffic, and it hits a one of those light poles or whatever, like a small pole, not like the full thick like traditional light pole, but like a little stop, and it bent it, and it was like that close to hitting the gas line.
Oh, yeah, that's terrifying. I got a similar. Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Travis.
Hey, Katie, you were saying something real quick. You said about the glasses. Glasses was disappearing. And you wouldn't be there. Now, let me ask this question: was they ever found?
Yes, they were actually. One was found upside down under the table.
How long was that in between the time? How long did it take for somebody to find them?
They were found the next morning.
Oh, okay.
But that isn't the weirdest thing that happened at that pub.
When they found them in the next morning, did they find them in the same place or somewhere like out of the ordinary?
Good question.
They were around the same vicinity, but there was a wine glass that was found upside down under the table. There was a half pint glass that was found upright on a stool. And then there was another wine glass that was found upright on the table next to where it was. But a lot of people don't believe this, but something extra bizarre happened not long before we left the pub. And all this activity had been building up to this. But one morning, me and my mum were doing the cleaning. And now I'd broken into the jukebox in the cellar, so we had free music. And we had the music blaring. I was doing the hoovering. My mum was somewhere cleaning. And I don't know if you ever had these type of these type of beer pumps in the US, but across here we had these kind of like electronic ones at one point where you clicked a button on the side and it measured out a half pint. So if you wanted a pint of beer, you clicked it twice. But all of a sudden, everything cut out. The hoover, the music, and I heard all these clicks. And I shouted at my mum, and behind the bar, every single one of the pumps was spewing out bitter, lager, and cider. But they weren't stopping. They were not stopping at all. And fair enough, that could have been classed as possibly an electrical fault. However, around the other side of the bar, there were 3 that weren't connected. They were not connected at all. You could never even get the tiniest drip out of them. They weren't connected to a barrel. Even they were spewing out bitter lager and cider.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
That is crazy.
And we lost so much beer that day. It was ridiculous.
Fuck.
They lost all the beer that day.
Yeah, it was a heartbreaking scenario. But then all of a sudden from nowhere, because we couldn't get it to stop, but all of a sudden from nowhere, the flow stopped and the music came back on and the hoover started up again. Literally from just randomly, as quick as it started.
That is wild.
That is wild, yeah.
Oh, man.
I don't know.
Oh, I've had some experiences.
Zach, you were going to say something?
Oh, I have a little story from about the same age as Andrew was when he had his experience. His mother and his grandmother had an experience,
Oh,
but I was probably maybe not even one, and I was in the back seat. I've been told the story a couple times from my mom, and we're traveling alone, just down state highway. Forget where she was going, but I don't know. Some bizarre thing happened where she had to pull off for a quick moment. I think she pulled off to use the car phone, and because my dad made sure that we got the car phones back in the '90s, early '90s when they were a thing. He had to get the new thing, but I guess he pulled off. I think to use the phone, lost, and then some weird like it's not paranormal. It's just weird and strange. And
hmm
I guess some dude just came up out of nowhere. I don't know if he pulled up. She said that he literally just came up out of nowhere,
that's
started banging on the door, and
whoa.
or yeah, literally just up at the driver, just banging on the window. And
Uh-uh.
next thing you know, and she told me like if I wasn't in the car, something bad probably would have happened because he looked back in the back, saw me asleep in the car seat, and then just disappeared.
That is
I mean,
that
so
is wow.
That's
That,
I
proper
don't.
weird.
that is
So the
wow.
the paranormal experience that I will say, me and my mom were going to 4th of July fireworks show. Um, this would be a few years back, and I came up so we could go over because I actually lived down in town at that point, and I came up. We went over to the fireworks show, and we crossed through the cemetery to get through, watch the fireworks, and then we started talking to this nice old man. Just had a cordial conversation with him. I forget exactly what we actually talked about, but he was a sweet old man. And then we said our pleasantries and goodbyes, and he just walked off, and he just disappeared. Like we didn't see him go anywhere in any direction. He just disappeared as we were all leaving. It's like, wait a second, was he here? Sweet
Yeah,
old man.
man.
I'd like to say that we just kind of like lost just lost him in the crowd, but he literally just disappeared. So
Wow. That
yeah,
I have heard stories like that before,
yeah.
you
So
know. I mean, something similar to what you were just talking about. Not similar, but have y'all ever heard of a story? Well, it's an urban legend here in the U.S. Of course, Katie's not here in the U.S., but it's they're called the Black Eyed Children.
oh,
No.
I've heard a little bit of the Black Eyed Children.
First time I ever heard of it was on a I forgot what it was. It was a TV show called Monsters and Mysteries in America,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a great. They lasted for 3 seasons. They had so much stuff that I loved that I got into and stuff. So they talked to a gentleman. They had him on there, and he talked about his encounters with the Black Eyed Children. And the story goes, if I can remember this, he stated back in 1996, he lived in Amarillo, Texas. And one evening, he said around like, um, it was like around getting dusk between 7:30, something like that. He
Mm-hmm.
went to like a strip mall or something like that because he remember he had to pay a bill. And he was in the car writing the check out and stuff and everything else. And he noticed that nobody was really around, and he heard a knock on his window. And when he looked up, he saw two kids standing there. He said they pale skin. You couldn't see their eyes, but he said they
Hmm.
pale skin. One of them looked like they was about 12, about 11 to 12. The other one looked like about 9 or 10, and they wore hoodies.
Hmm.
The story from what he said, he kind of rolled his window down, and the oldest one was the one who talking. Said, "Hey, Mister, we want to go see a movie, but we don't have any money. Will you give us a ride home?" He was like, "Your parents are not around?" I'm paraphrasing most of this stuff anyway, but he was like,
Yeah.
he was just wondering, why are y'all two out here alone? you know, in the middle of the parking lot, you know, and stuff. And the oldest one was like, "Come on." He was kind of a little forceful. He's like, "Come on, sir. Come on, mister. You know, you aren't afraid of us. You know, we just want to see a movie. Please let us in."
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, he was kind of like starting to like, well, I don't know, you know. And then when he said he realized that he was like his hand was reaching for the unlock, you know, latch to let them in, he was actually got to see their face, like their eyes. And he said their eyes were so black, like pitch black, that
Mm-hmm.
it he had some fear in his eyes and stuff and everything. And he was like, "Oh my God." He was like, "I cannot believe what I'm seeing." He said, you know, they did not look like any type of young kids and stuff. So he immediately rolled his window up and drove off really fast. And in that few seconds of him driving off real fast, he said this: "I kid you not, nobody could be that fast and disappear in the time frame that I looked in the rearview mirror to see them. They should have been standing there when I saw them in the rearview mirror, and they disappeared." And he was a reporter for the local paper there in Amarillo, Texas. So he wrote his story. He wrote a piece in the newspaper and everything else. And apparently, he started getting letters and people calling him, telling their experience about, you know, a similar incident about these young kids, hoodies, couldn't see their eyes, knocking on people's doors or approaching people, you know, in their vehicles or something like that, and saying the same similar thing. And everybody said they experienced dread when they saw their eyes. They said these cannot be children and stuff. And he said it was just wonder that not a lot of people talk about it, but people was, you know, talking to him about this. And he said that, you know, one thing that worries him about such a yes, one thing that worries him is people, as human beings, we are in by nature looking at children, and we want to help children. You see a child, you be like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you want to immediately, you know, feel the compassion of like wanting to help and stuff like that. He wonder how many people have been who encounter these black-eyed children and have let them in their house or their cars, and something has happened to them. Because, you know, I mean, that's never really been told about there. A lot of people have told him stories about, you know, rejecting these children, but what about the ones who
Mm-hmm.
has probably say, "Yeah, come on in," without second guessing? Because
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
whatever these things are, they use the subterfuge of children to lure, you know, their victims.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's one spooky story that got me. I was like, "Oh my goodness!" I tell that story to a few people. They said, "I never even
Yeah.
heard of the black-eyed children." I said, "I neither did I until I heard this gentleman talk about his experience." You know, and then other people talking
Wow.
about it, and they said that they have appeared all across this country. They say it's not just a local thing. Is you people from coast to coast. You know, but
Yeah.
that's just one little spooky story that I know of.
Am I the only one who finds that picture adorable?
I
You
mean,
might be, Katie. I mean, they are. I mean, they're kids. I mean, they're
look at those
adorable.
cute
But
little
then
cheeks.
look at them. I'd pinch them right now.
Yeah. And then they fall off.
Then you look into the eyes and they're like,
Or if they try
don't.
to bite you.
But even that I find adorable.
Mm.
It is kind of wild though, and I guess it's turned into a Halloween story pretty much.
Yeah,
They just
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
but
It is.
Well,
yeah,
let
in
me
Bethel's report,
That's an urban tale
night
here in the U.S.
yeah, the earliest reported sighting was 1996 by Brian Bethel, a journalist, just like he said, from Abilene, Texas. So, which I guess is not far from Amarillo, and In Bethel's report, he describes a late evening out in his vehicle. He had stopped in a parking lot near a movie theater to write a check. He was so absorbed in that he didn't
Yeah.
notice two young boys approach his car. He didn't notice until the older boy tapped the driver's side window.
Yep.
Bethel rolled down his window and noted immediately a soul-racking fear, though he couldn't understand why. The older boy said that he and his brother wanted to catch a movie but had forgotten their money at home.
Mhm.
Could Bethel give him a ride? They assured him that it wouldn't take long. They were just two kids and they didn't have a gun. Bethel found insurances unnerving and noted that the last showing of the film they wanted to see had already started and would be nearly over by the time he could drive them anywhere and get back. I mean,
That's a spooky
mean,
story.
that is spooky.
That is a pretty spooky story. You know.
Wow.
I
I
like
mean,
that story.
his recount of the incident, he stated that when he broke eye contact with them, his fear became all encompassing. And it wasn't until he broke eye contact that their eyes became completely blacked out. That'd be freaky. You just split second, you move away, and then you look back, and then it's like these are demons.
That's what a lot of people suspect. There's a lot
Yeah.
of people suspect that the demons using subterfuge as a way to
Mm-hmm.
get to people and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Or yeah. The freaky part is the fact that they disappeared.
Yeah.
He drives away and he looks back and sees them not there. It's like, what?
That's the creepy part too. That is one of the most creepy part too. Is like
Mm-hmm.
you could in the instant like few seconds, and then you look, and then it's just like what Katie experienced, and your mom experienced when when you and your
Mm-hmm.
mom, but like somebody was there and there was not. The glasses were there. You turn around and they was not. It's like
Mm-hmm.
nothing could have moved that fast without you even hearing or seeing it, in with all your senses. It's
I've had
crazy.
that many experiences. It's very rare that I get freaked out. There's only two experiences that have ever freaked me out. The one I've already told you about, with the hands around my waist and the rattling door, but
Mm-hmm.
there was another one. I did put it in the comments, like a brief description of it. And
Oh yes.
I think I've told this story on Dangerous Thoughts. I used to do paranormal investigations, and
Like
I mean,
dang.
I'm a freaking witch.
Mhm.
I carry my craft around with me. I wear a pentacle around my neck. I've got my craft tattooed all over me. Well, I didn't back then, but I do now. But we went to this pub called the Red Lion in Pontefract, and it's notorious for its really bad activity. And yes, definitely, shout out to Intiraymi, who is also a paranormal investigator.
Mhm.
And I mean, we always did protection and everything, but I always wear this as an extra level of protection. It's cleansed daily.
Mhm.
But I don't know why. But we had some really hardcore Christians. And I mean, I didn't have the tattoo on my chest at the time. I didn't have hardly any tattoos. But I always wore this. And she took one of the women, she took one look at me and says, I am not going in there with you if you're wearing the sign of the devil around your neck. And I'm just like, excuse me?
Hmm.
And we kind of got into it a little bit, but then Raven, the woman who ran the investigation, she was just like, look, these people have paid to come on the investigation, so just for this one night, do you mind taking it off? We'll do extra protection. And I wasn't happy about it, and I told her that shit was going to hit the fan. And she's like, I'm sure it won't. We'll do extra protections. I'm like, okay then. So I took it off and I put it in her car. And we went in there, and the only thing we ever took on paranormal investigations was just a bog standard camcorder and disposable cameras. And then there was like one digital camera just for like instant photos. And oh my God, the shit that hit the fan that night. We ended up getting strangled by nooses round our necks.
What?
What?
It was me,
That's wild.
Raven, and one of the customers. We got them all out of there like straight away as soon as it started happening. And me and Raven went back in. And well, I did as well, but it was mainly Raven. She got attacked really badly. And I mean, me and this other woman, we had slight marks on our necks, but not anything substantial. But Raven, she had like black, like rope marks around her neck after this. But we went in there to do a cleansing. Once we got everyone else out, because we were the only ones that could. And it just wasn't letting up. It was getting worse. So I said to Raven, I'll be back in a minute. And she's like, where are you going? I said, I'll be back in a minute. I went outside and her husband, Sean, I said to him, I says, unlock your car now. And he's panicking. And I'm saying, unlock your car or I'll smash the window. And he knew I was being serious. So he unlocked his car. I put my necklace back on and went in. The activity stopped dead.
Wild.
Wow.
It goes to show you that, I mean, and I'm a Christian, but it goes to show you that sometimes certain little things that a lot of us Christians believe are evil, like pieces, evil artifacts, maybe they're not, because there are energies on this earth. There is, we are within a magnetic field, and there are certain things that can stop it. So,
well, yeah, I mean, a pentacle is innately a sign of good, and it's actually a protection amulet. That's why I wear it. And I mean, the only time this has ever come off is like during my operations that I've had, and if I've ever had to have like an X-ray or an MRI, that's the only time it's ever come off. But it is a protection amulet, and you know, Raven actually started advertising that, you know, if people didn't like the pentacle sign, don't join, because one of the group leaders wears one and refuses to take it off after what happened with that.
I don't blame him.
Yeah.
And she actually put that disclaimer on the website, because I mean, the only reason why we took a camcorder was for advertisements for our website. We didn't do it for footage, just for, you know, posterity or anything. But the photos and like the digital photos were to go on our website as well. And when we took the digital photos, and it even came up on the disposable cameras as well, we had red nooses around our necks.
Oh my god.
That's wild.
Wow.
That is crazy.
That is wild.
That is crazy.
I
was gonna say.
Sorry. But
I was gonna say, go ahead and tell your story, Andrew.
I worked in a morgue for 3 years before, during, and right after COVID. This is when I left. But right before COVID hit, I was by myself watching the morgue for extended period of time, like several months, because it was being rented. The whole property being renovated. It was a medical college, but it was also a morgue. And my grandma, the one I was talking about earlier, just passed away. And it's here 3 o'clock at night in this morgue, and it's just normal night, nothing's going on, and it's just me on the whole property. There's like 3 or 4 different buildings, and I look down on the cameras, and the library light's on. So I step outside, look around. There's nothing in. It's two floors. All the lights are off of both sides of the hill, or both sides of the hall. So I go right, look down, turn the lights on automatically when you walk through. Nothing down there. So I go left, look around, nothing on the other side. So I'll go downstairs to the back hallway. I'll walk around there. All the lights are off. Go to the library. There's nothing in there. I'll walk the whole property. Not a single thing. I couldn't find anybody. Just never repeated again.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That is crazy. That hearing all these crazy paranormal stories is just it gives me such, chills. I love it.
Yeah.
Right.
But like
It
I
is.
could tell, like I never had no paranormal experience like you guys have, but like I can tell some stories in a sense, like stories that I have heard and everything. Give an example. Uh, Anybody heard of the story of what they call it, the Lizard Man in South Carolina?
Oh,
I think I
I've
might
heard
have heard
about it,
it.
but
I've
nothing in great detail.
The
I
story,
vaguely have heard about the lizard man.
well, the story goes, and I'm a paint a kind of picture for other things too. The story goes in July 14th, 1988. A young man named Christopher Davis was driving home just outside of Bishopville, South Carolina, in Leeds County. He had a flat tire. Apparently, he was just outside of what they call Scape or Swamp, and either it was around like he was 17 years old. He either he will wait in his car in the morning for like a tow truck or something to come, or he would change the flat tire himself, which he did. It took him about 45 minutes to an hour, and as soon as he was done, he was putting the stuff in the trunk and everything else. He noticed a figure, you know, because it was the full moon, and he noticed a figure in brush stuff like brush coming out of the brush and stuff and everything, and noise making and stuff. And he's got a glimpse of this creature, and apparently he said it was about 7 feet tall, three finger like claws, red eyes, scale skin like a lizard or a snake like creature. Yes, yes,
There's
that
the
is it.
story right there.
It's a gun.
The story goes Christopher Davis jumped in his car, drove he sped up, and this thing stayed with him while he was hitting like 30-40 miles, and this thing was keeping up. It actually jumped on his car, and he said he was swerving side to side to get it off, and he said he saw the creatures, because it was on top of the hood, and finally he was able to shake it off. It was like out of a movie. Apparently he reported he came home. He was upset at his parents and stuff like that. He was, so they was able to calm him down after a long while. They went to the local sheriff who knew the family, and he told the sheriff this. He made his official report, and stuff. And the story goes, he told his story, and then other people started saying, they have seen such a creature, in and around Scape or Swamp in South Carolina in Bishopville and stuff. And a lot of people will say, "Oh yeah, um, this creature, has been seen, numerous times in and around and everything else." And I think too, like the Native Americans, that lived here long before other people came, they told the stories of such, creatures and stuff and everything. Another gentleman, I believe, encountered such a creature when he was so-called backpacking um, home, because he apparently what he said, he wanted to just he was from Michigan, and he wanted to just, he was about 16, maybe 17. He wanted to hitchhike, down to Florida, and he just got, at one point he was like, you know what, I'm not gonna do this no more. I'm gonna turn around and go back home. He had his belongings and stuff like that. He was somewhere, you know, in and around North Carolina, between South Carolina and North Carolina, and he encountered a creature, basically something like that. He had a bolo whip. So when this creature approached him, when he had his campfire and stuff and everything else, he said he could not believe what he was seeing. So what he did with the bolo whip, he took the whip and, he Indiana Jones, and he snapped and he struck the thing, and that creature did not like that. He said it made just it was like out of a movie. It made this sound that you would just hear like it was out of a movie. And he was like wanting to, he took up a defensive posture. So he did it again, and he hit the creature, and the creature was just getting more angry. Well, he will try for a third time. The creature ended up biting the tip of the whip, and he said he knew he was in trouble, and he was able to escape. Apparently, making a long story short, he was able to escape, you know, and he left some of his, he left his belongings and stuff like that and whatnot, but the creature gave him a chase. Well, he was able to make it to a row, and he was walking for a couple of hours. I think he said about 2 hours or so. A truck pulled up, and it was a young Native American, probably in his early 20s or something. And he was like, offered him a ride, and he basically told the young Native American, what he just encountered several hours ago. Well, he was like, the Native American really shocked him when he took and said to him, "You lucky it was just the one."
Man.
Wow.
So that goes back to what I was saying. People like hunters, people who venture far out, away from towns, cities, and stuff, and everything in the woods and stuff. You got to start thinking they have some interesting stories to tell about encountering not just creatures like that, but like things that they would never thought about. And I have heard stories about people encountering. Of course, we got all know about the whole legendary tall tales of Bigfoot and all, but people have talked about creatures that was not Bigfoot related. Stuff like, the lizard man, and then, stuff like, I really shouldn't say the name because it's bad luck to say it, creatures such as skinwalkers in a sense, or wendigos. I shouldn't even say it out loud and everything else, but needless to say, people have talked about seeing like dog man, wolf like creatures and stuff. I know like just stories where people say that they encountered things that like up in Massachusetts, about 15 miles outside of downtown Boston, back in 1977, there was an incident. I believe it was from April 21st and the 22nd, where high school kids encounter something they call it the Dover Demon, and it's about 4 feet tall. It looked like an alien and stuff, but it had like as they call it, glowing orange eyes. The students was telling stories about encountering, such a creature for the over 2 days and stuff, and people are like, yes, I seen that creature and everything else. There's drawings you can find the Dover Demon and stuff, and you start looking at that. And then also too, in Massachusetts, there's a story that the Native Americans have told to the settlers about, pugwudgies. I don't know if y'all ever heard of this the Pugwudgie?
I have not. I have
No.
not.
Oh, the story goes, Pugwudgies, they about 3 to 4 feet tall. Um, they're mischievous little creatures and stuff and everything. Native Americans have encountered them ever since they came. When they first came to North America and stuff, especially in the Huckamuck Swamp. Yeah, that's the Huckamuck Swamp area of
Mhm.
Massachusetts and stuff. Well, there's a story. I believe his name was Bill Russo. He was in the 1990s, I think early or mid 90s. He said one evening he was taking his dog out. He lived close to Huckabuck Swamp and stuff and everything else. And he said he never had
Mhm.
ever experienced the encounter that he experienced, him and his dog. Well, one night he took his dog out and they went for a walk. And he said it was foggy. And at one point when they was walking down the walk path or road or something, they saw this mist and stuff. And he said his dog became very anxious and stuff, and she was just getting she was spooked. She was acting like she was just whimpering and crying. And when he looked up, he saw this figure, like little figure type thing, and he just couldn't believe his eyes.
Hmm.
So he just was like, "What?" So he said the creature was waving at him, like not waving at, but like like this, like, and it was saying, "You, we want you," but it was saying it in a way of like he was trying to understand it. It was like talking to him, but it was like saying it in a real like Hobbit way or something, you could say.
Mhm.
And he said he was just so freaked out, him and his dog, that they took the long way home. They didn't go the way that they was originally gonna go. He said they took the long way home, and he said as soon as he got back home, he made himself a pot of coffee, stayed up all night trying to figure out what he saw, and he
Mm.
told his son. He told his son the next day what he saw, and his son did some research and stuff, and he was like, "I had never even heard of pugwudgies until you start digging into local folklore and
Mhm.
Native American tales about them and stuff, because they were mischievous, and apparently the Native Americans at that time kind of went to war with them. They had a battle and stuff and everything. Apparently Native Americans won, and they live like on the fringes of what we call our our I'm not saying like our world and their world and stuff and everything. And if you go too far, some say if you go just too far, away from civilization, you might run into such creatures and stuff. And you all start thinking about, the things that really go bump in the night. Like, is there
Mhm.
really things out there if you in the entire North America alone, just here in Canada and stuff, you start thinking about that, like people who go hunting, camping, uh, stuff that that I'm not saying that they see, but like they won't tell anybody because nobody will believe them because it sounds
Mhm.
so outlandish,
Yeah.
and it's just like, oh my God, you just gotta ask yourself, if you do go so far out, are you going to see something that is going to define your logic of thinking?
And I honestly, I think if you do go far out, go on a trip, go hiking, go camping, or go somewhere new, you're always going to find something. You're going to feel something, and something. I mean, you may not see it, but you're going to feel something because it's if it's new, you've never been around that energy, and we all are basically energy. So I mean, you're going to feel that new energy intersecting with your own energy, regardless of whether it's a being, what is it, a pudgy wudgy?
A pugwudgie.
Oh, a pug wudgy. So,
Pugwudgie.
I
Yep, they're
mean,
called pugwudgie.
yeah, or Bigfoot, or the Mothman, or the Lizard Man, or
I
spiritual.
don't live too
Yeah.
far from the
Really,
story of.
everything's
I
got
live
its
about 40.
own energy frequency. So,
Mm-hmm.
it's all about the energy vibe that it gives off.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't
Yep.
live too far from where the Mothman legend arrives. It's about a 40-minute drive from me.
Man.
Yeah. Also, too, here's another story. It's actually right up your. I want to say I don't know if it's up your way, Zach, but I know it happened. Have you ever heard of the story called the Green Clawed Beast?
I have not. No.
No.
It goes back
I.
to
But I'm
1955.
gonna pause you, and then I want you to talk about it. But I do want to know about this comment, Katie. What do you mean by Andrew's hollow emitters? Emitters. I'm
Hollow
retarded, so
emitters. It's a
I
standing
can't talk.
joke with anyone with a digital background. Every time they move, it goes all pixelated. So I always say that the hollow emitters are malfunctioning.
Oh, okay.
Sorry,
Oh,
I'm a
I
Star
like
Trek
that, Katie.
dude.
Star
I like
Trek
that.
nerds.
She's getting some
Yeah.
trick talking there. Well, let's see for an engineer to fix the hollow emitters.
Yes,
Uh,
or get a green screen. So,
Oh, I like that. I like that.
but I didn't mean to cut you off, Travis. So you
No,
start goes back to 1955. You said.
the story goes in 1955, lady, her name was Naomi Johnson. She and her three children live in Stevensville, if I'm not mistaken, or Evansville. I believe it. Yeah, it was. She lived in Evansville, Indiana. And the story goes that one summer it's coming to the end of summer. It was probably, I think, August. It was a hot summer, and she took her kids to the Ohio River, and she had a friend with her, and her friend had a like an inner tube, and they went out about, I think, 15-20 feet from into the river. At that time, they didn't want to get too far out in the river because the currents was a little too strong and stuff. So her and her friend was just chilling. Her friend was on the inner tube, and she was just, because she was a good swimmer. Well, apparently, Naomi got dragged under, and her friend was panicking and stuff, and she was like, going crazy and stuff. And then she'll pop up, and her friend, name was Louise, if I remember it. So Louise, was trying to like, help her, and then all of a sudden she came up for a big breath of air, and then all of a sudden, she'll just go right back down. And this happened about 3 times. And according to Naomi, that she got a good look of the creature, of what was pulling her down. And I'm not sure if you guys ever heard of the movie called The Creature from the Black Lagoon. It came out.
Love
I
it.
th-
Yeah.
Heard of it. I've not seen it though.
It came out about a year or two before, or
Mhm.
after this, happened and stuff. So, needless to
Yep.
say, she kind of compared it to that. She said the creature had a hand-like web, with claws on it. It was she looked at it. It was green. It had like, I'm kind of trying to remember a little bit. It really looked like something she said out of the movie of the Creature of the Black Lagoon and stuff. Well, apparently it made some claw marks on her legs when she was able to finally, the creature released her, and she pulled her and her friend Louise back to shore, and her kids was on the riverbank, crying and, worrying about if their mom was okay, because it looked like she was, being sucked under and stuff. Well, they end up calling, I don't know what they call it back then, but we would call it, paramedics or EMTs and stuff and everything. And she had markings on her legs and stuff. Some of it was like bluish or something, and she had like claw marks that ran, vertical from her knee down to her ankle and stuff, and she had blood and stuff and everything. And then whatever that was, made the blue marks in her, she said it stung. It really stung. They try to use alcohol to, get it off and everything else and stuff.
Mhm.
Well, here's the more creepy part. So after she had, she reported this story, Not long after, she got a visit from a United States official. It was a United States Air Force colonel, a Fulbright colonel, and it was very strange to them. He came and he took the report and everything else and stuff. She told him all what happened and stuff. Well, what got really more strange in a sense is he basically said, "You got to stop talking about this. Nothing ever happened. You do your family, basically service if you just keep your mouth closed and stuff. No one here ever talk about whatever happened. Nothing ever happened and stuff." Basically saying, warning her to stop talking about, telling people what happened to her and stuff. And I've seen the interview with one of her son, her oldest son, that he remembered that the colonel warned her not to talk about her story or anything. He said you just need to leave it alone and let it go and stuff and everything. And he said he felt like they was threatened by the United States government, and he don't know why. But that's the really creepy part. It's like, why would the United States government be, especially a full-bird colonel, come to somebody's house in Indiana who was reportedly attacked by a creature in the Ohio River? That was that was, and that happened in 1955, actually.
Government experimentation gone wrong.
There's so many
That
theories.
could be.
That's one theory I have
Yeah.
heard. That is one theory. Yep, that is one theory.
I mean, that's weird. Go ahead, Andrew.
I had some extended family that lived out in California. They've all passed away now, but
That sucks.
they well, I mean, I never actually met them, but this is you hear through the grapevine of the family. They had moved out to California, like I said, and they were having some kind of event, like social gathering. Yeah, how do you social gathering, and the I guess it was. Are you having fun?
Yes. Go on.
It's hard for you to focus.
All right.
I know.
I'll stop. I'm putting you on the spot. But hey, go ahead.
Anyways, the wife and the family had went and during the social event, she said she had a headache and she went upstairs to lay down. And she said while she was laying down, she's sleeping, and she dreamed that the devil had came and said, "I'm coming for you. You're coming to hell with me now." And she started screaming, and she woke up, and her husband had come and said, "What's going on? Why are you upset? Why are you screaming?" And she said, "He's coming for me. He's coming for me." And then, she pulled her leg up, and there was a mark on her leg where he grabbed her.
Wild.
Yeah,
that's wild.
I mean, that's extended family. It's things, Say it again.
Well,
I've woken up with random scratches on me before, and I don't just mean little ones. I mean like proper scratches right across my abdomen.
Oh my god!
When I was 3,
bright red.
We were staying at some house, and I remember it, but barely. But my mom has told me about this. She said, "Why? Where are these scratches? There's huge, like thick red scratches going down my back." I don't know. It's just weird stuff that happens.
that is wild. I mean, is it an attack, or I don't know, or could it be something that you kind of fell into? That's the big question. How did it happen, right? So,
Yeah.
and when you can't explain it, you kind of start thinking and going over and re-envisioning in your brain, trying to put the puzzle pieces together, and you just don't remember. And of course, if you're 3, you're definitely not going to remember because, I mean, our brain isn't fully developed at that point.
And you know something too. I'm not saying that everybody believes in it and stuff, but like when if somebody agrees to go under hypnosis, and you know, apparently scientists have said the every moment of our lives is recorded in our
Mm-hmm.
brains, our sight
Mm-hmm.
and hearing and stuff and everything. We may not have we lose the ability to access, you know, what we did this past week. Like, you know, every moment that you done something, you lose the ability to remember that, you know,
Mm-hmm.
time frame and stuff and everything. But with hypnosis, you can relive those events and stuff. A lot of people who go through hypnosis and stuff and recount of events that they forgot or choose, or they just basically,
Subconsciously remember, but they don't objectively remember it.
exactly.
Yes.
And it starts to, they be like, I cannot believe I, and then they start thinking, oh yeah, I remember this now. It clicks to them and
Mm-hmm.
stuff, and it's like, I can't believe that I forgot all about this. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that hypnosis works and stuff with everybody, but you start putting people under, if you can put, if somebody's willing to go under hypnosis and stuff and everything else,
Mm-hmm.
what will we say about, events that we have, forgotten about? And, especially being a child and stuff and everything else, because I guess children are more sensitive to, paranormal stuff. I don't know if
Yeah.
Katie, uh, uh, I would say if Katie know more about that because she's a sensitive herself and stuff and everything, especially
Yeah.
her experience and stuff. But it seems like things not always happen to children and stuff, but like
Mm-hmm.
which I was saying about energy and stuff and everything else. Kids can be more influenced and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I just love these, talks that you guys have been throwing out and everything. It's been very fascinating and stuff.
It it really has. It has been
Yeah.
fascinating, but I think we're drawing closer and closer. We've gone well over the hour mark, like always, Andrew. So we probably
Yeah.
should start wrapping up a little bit. But before we do that, I do want to know. I do want to know from Katie. Yeah, what do you see? I mean, since you're a medium, what do you see with our with Andrew's aura? I just I just want to know. I'm curious.
He's got an interesting aura, to be honest.
Ooh.
I, ooh.
Okay.
There's something going on with Andrew at the minute that's bothering him. That
Andrew,
is
is this true?
to itself.
Well, I mean, I guess so. Just concentrate and
But no,
I don't know.
you've got a lot of deep blues, but you've got some yellows as well that blend into green. And you've got a hint of red as well, which it's only slight, but I can see that building over time, which will help with confidence and certainty in yourself.
Okay. I mean, I don't know. What do you mean by blue? And I guess I can understand blue, like sorrow maybe. But what's yellow and
No,
red?
blue is more for spirituality. It symbolizes a development or a change,
Hmm.
or that's how I associate with it anyway. But it could also mean that you're in need of a little bit of healing at the moment, whether it be physically, emotionally, psychologically. I don't know.
Well, okay. I mean, I just don't. I'm not. I don't have any exposure to the stuff they talk about. That's so. I don't know. What does yellow mean?
Yellow is usually what people think it is with like happiness and things like that and positivity.
Mm-hmm.
But whether
Okay.
that is due to come or happening at the moment, I'm not sure. I'm not very connected at the minute with my dad passing away a couple of weeks ago.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But so like auras aren't as visible to me at the moment as they usually are.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
What does green mean? Again, I don't know if you.
What was that? Sorry.
I said what does green mean? Typically.
Green. That could also. You see, a lot of people interpret things differently. I don't interpret things how they should be interpreted. When it comes to any form of reading, I mean, I can read a deck of playing cards the same as tarot cards. But with the blending, with the green being created, with the blending of the blue and the yellow, that could mean a few things, like you're drawing energy from the earth. There's a bit of extra healing going on, maybe not necessarily healing that you're aware of. You could do with a chakra alignment, in all honesty, because your chakras are a bit out. And it could mean that your aura is trying to align with itself, because that can happen. But like I say, I'm not very connected at the moment because I'm a bit all over the place. But
Yeah. But that's wild because I mean, from what you and I have been talking about, Andrew, behind the scenes, just between us, friends, right?
Yeah.
You are going through some things at the moment.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's mental or if it's just life or family. I mean, but you are going through some things, and it does seem like this right here kind of does picture an image of you trying to heal in some capacity.
Maybe just so we can schedule down the road episode just talking about this conversation here with Katie. So
Oh, definitely.
I do
We'll
want
have
to
to.
say one thing to you, though, Andrew.
sure.
Stop being so bloody hard on yourself. You are only one person. You aren't, you cannot do everything. So cut yourself some slack.
Okay.
Good advice. That's good advice.
Great advice.
That's great advice.
Great advice.
You know.
So, but with that, thank you, Travis and Katie. I'm gonna go ahead and send y'all backstage, and let's close out, Andrew. So,
All right. Sounds good.
So Andrew, what did you think about that? Wild,
I think
right?
it is. I think we should do more stuff like this. Maybe expand it. I like talking about different stuff. I like this, like paranormal experiences and just different philosophical concepts and traditional mediums, holiday
Will
stuff.
do. Yeah, I mean, we need to do something because the politics and all this, man. We talk about it, just gets so damn exhausting. And this is something we're both interested in. A lot of people are interested in. A lot of people are interested in the afterlife, regardless of what your beliefs are. So, and paranormal experiences kind of give you that. I'm gonna butcher the judgment of whether or not there is an afterlife. And with experience that happened, it really seems like there's definitely an afterlife. So But with that, anything you want to add, plug, or say to end the show?
I just appreciate everybody watching. It's always been fun doing this. So hopefully we can keep doing it. Keep growing.
Keep going. Keep growing. Find yourself, everybody. Become your own bank, and keep exploring. Explore. It doesn't matter what it is. Explore history. Explore politics. Explore the paranormal. Explore the world. Explore. I don't know. Cooking collard greens in a steak. I mean,
Yeah.
really, it doesn't matter. Learn, explore. That's what the human element is all about. We're here to learn and absorb knowledge until it's time to pass on into the next realm, whether that's heaven or whether that's another alternate dimension, whether we're just spawns of energy. It doesn't matter. So, I mean, but until next time, I am the legacy of Jennifer Aunt Kaiser. I am Zachary Kaiser. That's Andrew Joseph. Tune in for some more every Sunday because the Legacy Right doesn't always delve into this. But tune in for some more of going into the strange and the weird and the paranormal and the supernatural every Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Pacific. That is like 1:15 in the morning for Katie in England. That is early or late, depending on how you want to look at it. Dangerous Thoughts. Like, subscribe, ring that bell, and make sure you do the same for us. Keep on sharing because the message needs to get out there. We need to explore and we need to teach. And that's what we're trying to do. So with that, let's take it on out of here, man. So
listen, you son of a bitch! What the fuck's your problem? You want to sit here and say that I'm a goddamn fucking Russian? You get in my face with that and I'll beat your goddamn ass, you son of a bitch! You piece of shit. You fucking goddamn fucker. Listen, fuckhead. You have fucking crossed the line! Get that through your goddamn fucking head! Stop pushing your shit! You're the people that have fucked this country over! So stop shooting.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Pete Okerlund. I'd like to welcome you to WCW Nitro.
You know, brother, you think you know what it takes to beat Hollywood Hogan once you climb in the ring and try out the largest arms in the world. Hollywood style.
You want to wrestle an inch more Ric Flair, you gotta be able to walk that out and style and profile. Woo! You really think you're ready for the spin? You really think you're ready for the Scorpion Deathlock? You think you're ready for a fatal encounter?
This is why they call me the total package. Do you have a pain threshold to withstand the torture rack? Let's find out.
Hallo, hier ist Thelegacyright. Wenn ihr High-Flying Wrestling Action wollt, Spinning Sidekick, Top Turnbuckle Dropkick, dann nehmt mich. Der Sieg ist euch sicher. Versprecht euch.
Oh yeah! Watch the flying elbow drop off the top rope. Not only beat people 1, 2, 3, but I hurt them real bad. It only takes one of 1,000 holds. I think you're man enough for the challenge.
You better be ready to wrestle, because you know, when you get in the ring with Eddie Guerrero, it's going to be high-flying and exciting.
Hey, anytime you feel froggy, man, I'll slap on the buzz killer and rip your shoulder right out of socket. Wolfpack style! Hey, funky boy. Like there's a choice here? Good God! Pick the man with the plan. Pick DDP. Hey, all you suckers out there. You wanna play the game? You wanna play with the big boy? Put your feet on the button, cause when you go down 110th Street, it's gonna be on like neck bone, sucker.
This is from Harlem Heat, hardcore OG brother from 110th Street. The minute you pump, got the guts to step up to the plate, push the button.
Yo, Chico, you selected Scott Hall? Get ready for a wild ride on the outside. Hey there! How'd you like to get power bomb? Come on, pick me. I'm begging you, pick me.
You think you got the courage to step in the ring? I think you're gonna wind up with a snap neck with a choke slam.
Technical wrestler, high flyer, brawler. Don't matter what you consider yourself to be. When you're in the ring with the crippler, you're a loser.